Hi, my name is Rosalie Desmond and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Australia. Today I have the latest in the Christmas Stampathon 2019. On the 25th of each month, a team of demonstrators from all over the world come together and bring a challenge. We have Ruth Trice from the UK, Denise Garrison from the USA, and myself and Alan Woodbridge from Australia. What you need to do is you need to make at least 4 cards using our monthly theme. This month's theme is mostly white. So on my projects today, I have used mostly white. So for the first one, I've used a white card base, white layer with some copper foil, white embossing and a white die cut. And for the second one, I've used a white card base with a white layer and a red die cut. Now on both of these, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there is some clear embossed design behind it just to give it a little bit of texture. The items I'm using today is the Crackle Paint stamp set for the background. The Merry Christmas to All is, I've used the Merry out of the Merry Christmas to All stamp set to white emboss on the piece of copper foil, and I've used the Merry Christmas thinlits. So for the thinlits, I've used Merry Christmas. Okay, for the 2 mats, I have used pieces of Whisper White, which are 14 centimeters by 9.5 centimeters. I'm going to do the same thing to both pieces. I'm using the Crackle Paint and I'm inking it up with Versamark ink. Versamark ink is like a sticky, almost glue-like substance which just holds on to the embossing powder. So I've just inked that up. I'll grab my piece. I'm pushing it down just to get the Versamark to transfer onto my white cardstock. Now I didn't do a great job there lining it up. So when you're doing it, just be a little bit more careful than I was. I'm using some clear embossing powder. Now, I'm not sure if you can catch that, but where the Versamark is, the clear embossing powder is caught. I think I just missed a little bit here, which I did. And I just tap off any excess. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the heat tool and melt the embossing powder onto the cardstock. Now all of the embossing powder is melted. It's quite a simple technique. As long as you've got the right tools, it's very easy to do embossing. Now I'm going to go away and I'm going to do the other one. Okay, so I have my Merry Christmas and my Christmas. I'm going to use some Tombow liquid glue and I'm going to stick down the Merry Christmas. Now I could have also used some adhesive sheets, which would have made this a lot quicker. I get to do it the long way. It'd be a lot less fiddly if I had used an adhesive sheet. So if you've got adhesive sheets, please try and remember to use them. Now I'm grabbing some Stampin' Dimensionals. So for the card base, I have a half an A4 sheet of thick Whisper White. And that's the first card done. Now the second card, I've used a piece of copper foil, which I've cut at 4.5 centimeters by 14 centimeters. So it's going to go across my piece of Whisper White. Now for this one, I'm using the Merry out of the Merry Christmas to All, which I've put on a clear block. Using the embossing buddy, I'm just going to rub on my copper foil just to remove any static, and I'll use the Versamark again. You just have to be careful not to slide the stamp, because the surface of the foil is very smooth. It's very easy for it to slide. Now this time I'm using white embossing powder. Use the heat tool again. And I just want to heat it enough to melt the embossing powder. If I heat it too much, it can actually burn it. And we definitely don't want that. So the same here. If you've got the adhesive sheets, use them please. Otherwise, it takes a lot longer. So if you don't have them and you don't mind it taking you a while, it's not a big deal. But if you've got a lot of intricate dies and you're wanting to do a lot of this kind of thing, it is worth purchasing some. Made a bit of a mess of this one. It's the only problem with using the foil. Didn't have a problem with it with my first one, but as soon as I've gone to video it, I mess it up a bit. That's okay. When the adhesive is completely dry, I'll use an adhesive remover to try and get rid of some of those marks. In the meantime, we'll just keep going. Now what I did was I bumped the piece of foil up just to give it extra dimension. And I'll use my grid paper so I can attempt to have my foil sheets a little bit straighter. And then I'm going to bump this up again. Pop that one up. And they're done. I've got my 4 cards ready and raring to go for Christmas. If you'd like to join us in the Christmas Stampathon this year, please follow the link below and join the Facebook group. We'd love to have you play along. Until next time, happy crafting!